Okay, now if you watched the previous video, this problem here should be easier. So they gave you that arc cosine 5/13 equals to theta here. Again, we wouldn't know what theta is. Excuse the background noise. People like to slam the door. So in other words, cosine of this theta angle equals to 5/13. Again, the ratio of cosine theta is x over r, or SOHCAHTOA, so adjacent over hypotenuse. And I would apply it to my right triangle here. So x would be 5. I'm gonna write it as adjacent and hypotenuse. So SOHCAHTOA is sine theta equals to opposite over hypotenuse. When they're talking about opposite, is the side opposite of the angle. So this is opposite. This is adjacent, so it's the side next to the angle. Hypotenuse is different because it is opposite, always the opposite of the right angle. So this is hypotenuse. So in this case, my hypotenuse is 13. Okay, so was sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine theta is adjacent over hypotenuse, which we already said here. Tangent theta is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so let's get back to the problem here. So they asked number 2. It says find sine theta. Again, from SOHCAHTOA, or knowing the fact that sine theta is y over radius, I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA here. So opposite over hypotenuse. The opposite angle, we don't know. We need to find that out. And the hypotenuse 13. So first of all, how do I find a missing side of a right triangle? Go back to Pythagorean theorem, which was hypotenuse squared minus one of the sides, which gives us the other side, right? So 12. This is your opposite side. So sine theta is 12/13. Now they ask, what does sine of arc cosine of 5/13? And to be honest with you, I cannot calculate that. I would be impressed if someone can calculate that in their heads. So what I would suggest is pull out your calculator, and this is a perfect time for me to show you some of the stuff that we've been talking about in lab, how to enter these things into your calculator. So what you're gonna do first, always, when you're dealing with trigonometry, go to mode next to the second button, or the blue button, and then go look at radian degree line. If you're minus in degree right now, so I need to switch it to radian using my cursor, and then enter. And then you can clear. Now it's in radian mode. So that's good. So again, do you guys remember that arc cosine is also cosine inverse, right? But we need to input all of these things inside. So on the very outside, it says sine. And then I would do this for cosine inverse. You punch the blue button and then cosine. It will select the cosine inverse. Okay. And then you input 5/13. It gives you 0.923, so on and so forth. Right? And that's it. Okay. And the last one here, it was the exit ticket. So tangent inverse, we don't need a calculator for that, of negative square root of 3. So again, we're trying to find an angle here. that gives us negative square root of 3. What I would do, this is my scratch work. Excuse the background noise, y'all. Just remember that tangent theta means SOHCAHTOA, right? Opposite over adjacent, or y over x, or sine theta over cosine theta. Okay, so we got all the things, all the ratios. Okay, so think about it as this. What coordinates, if we divided y over x, would give us negative square root of 3? That's what you ask yourself, right? So I'm going to go back to my unit circle again and take a look at the angles here. Square root of 3. So there's no way that y over x would equal to square root of 3 if we use these angles, right? It's useless. Okay, so those are out. The pi over 4s are out because there's no way that square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2, again, positive or negative, would give me square root of 3 out, right? So we're left with pi over 3 and pi over 6 here. Okay, so we're just going to test it out. Let's say pi over 3. Okay. So pi over 3, question mark? So let's try. Pi over 3 is 1/2 and square root of 3 over 2, right? So if we divided y over x, which is tangent theta, square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2 is the same thing as square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Multiply across square root of 3 over 1, or square root of 3. So bingo, right? It's something with square root of 3. The only issue is it's negative. So we need to find again in what coordinate. We're interested in the pi over 3's, right? But which one, right? So in what coordinate that either x or either y is negative, so that means second quadrant. Did I say coordinate? What quadrant would give me either x is negative or y negative? So quadrant 2 and quadrant 4. Okay, so pi over 3, so that's 2 pi over 3 or 5 pi over 3. Oops. 2 pi over 3 or 5 pi over 3. The Desmos slide was very picky, and I inputted a very particular angle, so you could also think of it as this angle, which would mean a negative angle, right? So this way, that means I'm going negative pi over 3. Or negative pi over 3. Again, like in this problem, I didn't restrict it, so it could have whatever multiples of these pi over 3's, right? So I'm going to take the negative pi over 3, and the question asked me in degrees. A review here, you just need to convert it to degrees. The pi's cancel out. Pi divided by pi is 1, pi divided by pi is 1. 180 divided by 3 is 60, 3 divided by 3 is 1. Multiply across, you got negative 60 degrees. So that was your answer. Alright, y'all have a good night. Bye.